Rubirosa.
Say you love me, shorty, tell me why. Cause I'm a dog and I'ma probably be this way until I die. You say you always gonna be by my side. You say you trust me with your heart, and I swear I just wonder why.
We back again. Welcome back, boys. Dirtle, good to see you over there on the ones and the twos.
Back on the ones and the twos, watching them close this week.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, we didn't get to have Red this week. He is under the weather, and we're trying to stick to a tight schedule. So, pour one out for old Red Redmond to our mayor, but the show must go on, and he actually requested of us. So, here we are. Yeah, man. Finally got a victory. And what a way to do it. 153 points. I know, hearing from Jesse that he wasn't expecting it at all. Nobody was expecting it, yet just had this feeling deep down in my gut this entire time. I'm like, I drafted these guys for a reason. I need to hold strong. And boy, did the Navy Steels come in guns a-firing this week. Now, was I expecting 153? No, it wasn't. But, fuck, man. I'll take any kind of victory I can get at this point.
Yeah, I'll say it was pretty impressive for you to walk in and pull out your pud like that and make everyone look at it. So congrats
for
to
you,
the Navy
Toretto.
Steels.
The family.
It's all about family.
Man, no, it was a good week for myself, obviously, but I thought too, like, there were some good matchups this week, you know? A couple of key players or key members going down. You know, I look at what a swing this was. I mean, I did not see this coming from the beginning of the year. Nut versus Cleaner. Cleaner takes it home. Now Nut's 2-3. Cleaner's 3-2. Pretty strange, man. I mean, talking about, you know, one of the teams that had the max amount of cash with a juicy keeper to a guy that had no keeper and second least amount of cash. So, do we know anything in this league yet?
Yeah, it is. It's very strange, you know, going into the draft and even afterwards, we were all like, fuck, Cleaner's going to suck ass, and he's doing his thing, you know?
He is. I would say Cleaner has done a good job so far to these two drafts that you two have been a part of. He's cleaned up pretty well, you know, for what he has to work with. I don't really know how much, you know, research he puts into it, but hey, man's paying off. So, but yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the year, though, we're not seeing that. Calvin finally gets his victory too. You know, hey, Cal, we got out the mud. I'm glad to see that there's nobody that's winless now. I feel like that's bad for the league overall. Even if you guys want to see me or Cal be the worst, I'm sure there's grumblings of that.
There's a lot of joy in the house on Sunday having both of you guys win together.
Yeah, it's true. What else? Yeah, COD took it home against Trike. And, Dirtle, do you have our ticker down there with all the scores?
I do.
Get me lined up there. Yeah, perfect. Got to make sure everybody sees
number one
my
on the
victory.
list.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is my one time. This is my week I actually want that up there. But hopefully, too, I was trying to put some thought into naming COD, and I was like, there's so many different, like, weird, what do you call them? Like, is it called a titillation or whatever, or onomatopoeias or whatever it is, with the like the first letter of each word stacked. You know, it's like I was trying to think of T's, right? Like taint, tongue, and toilet seats. Or yeah.
Man, you were trying everything,
dude.
buddy.
I was going through like all these weird combinations in my head, like it was like I was trying to crack the code for the perfect nickname for COD, and then of course it just comes back to its roots: horses and cream. So
yeah, horses come. He sucks. That's all he is.
I mean, I know it's inhumane to some people's eyes, but I would love to see that man go have to milk a horse. That's what
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna
oh,
find a lot of farmers that like that.
no, probably not. I don't know. Catch him during, mating season. Maybe you need to get that thing going for the old mare.
Yeah, I mean, if we found him a good sized stud, they might just maybe they'd be saving money by letting him do it
Yeah,
or
no, it's
offering a
true.
service.
COD would be offering much more than a service.
Good old polish off at the end.
They're like, why is this guy so giddy while he's doing it? Just
Yeah,
COD
just
over there. The
drooling like.
I was thinking more of like a big shit eater grin, like just the happiest clam on the planet. Well, I can
Yeah.
see the drooling thing too. I mean, anyways, enough about that.
It's
We're
great
not
that
here.
even a week where COD wins, we still have to just talk insane amounts of shit about him.
Of course, of course. But on another note too, Trike 3-2. Hey,
Hmm.
rookie. I mean, technically not a rookie because he's been in the league before, but rookie this year, right? A lot of changes. So 3-2. I mean, man's making moves out there, and it's funny because like I enjoy it because it's like he kind of to me. I mean, I haven't talked to Mike personally about it, but I'm just kind of like assuming, I guess, that he doesn't really like let the outside noise kind of mess with him, whether it comes to his trades or evaluating players or how he wants to manage his team.
Yeah.
He literally sent me a Joker gift the other day, and it's like, do I look like a man that has a plan? And I'm like, dude, I feel like that's so fitting for you. It's just like chaos, like
Yeah, I'm
it's
just
just
moving.
yeah, he just wants to see the world burn, but at the same time, the man's also winning. So he lost
Yeah.
this week to COD, but I mean, hey, 3-2, two more wins than I got. So,
Hmm.
um, Jaden took down Huff's Puffs. Finally, Gobby gets his first loss. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Gabi, wow, what a insane way to get your first loss. A 58-point showing. I know that you kind of got screwed by Zach Moss sitting on your bench and JT not getting any usage, but man, that we were talking about your team like you were in the upper echelon, and I think you are coming on home, buddy.
Well, yeah, it was tough, right? Like we were watching those games on Sunday. I'm like, I don't know. You get the news that Jonathan Taylor's starting, or he's going to play at least. When you, I feel like I'd have to go JT over Zach Moss. But
Yeah, that
I
probably
mean, I
would have
don't
been
know.
my play as well.
Yeah, times are changing too. I mean, well, that's kind of different actually. I was going to compare it to Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua, but Cooper Cup's like 31, Nakua's like, I don't know, 23, 24 or whatever. And then
Yeah.
JT's only 25, so it's not. I mean, I think he actually came in the league after Zach Moss, so it's not like Zach Moss is some like younger, healthier guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
What is Gabi, what is the name for Tua on your team?
okay, so
Low?
did you not see that the other day?
No, I didn't. I must have missed it.
I want to say it was in. I can double check this real quick. I want to say it was in Sleeper, and he just like typed this shit out. I don't, dude. It was just like it was
It's
right
just
after.
gibberish.
Yeah, it was just gibberish. I mean, Brian puts in Pud God as DJ Moore's nickname, and then right after that, it's just Guru in here with a bunch of nonsense. Just Wall and Ono O and CBV. I put the little like, like what could
That's
this?
so funny. Probably
How
on
do I
mushrooms. He's
encrypt
like,
this?
I perfect name for him. Low old oh no.
Yeah, I feel like he's like seeing the hieroglyphics in his head, and like I can see it all.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Guru got his first loss. Good to see you there. Man, Brian's team, legit?
Hmm.
We thinking that? I was questioning it
I
at the beginning of the year.
yeah.
It's funny too because you
Um,
listen to Nut on the Nut Report, and it's like he's like
mhm.
so hesitant to actually put him number one. It's like he doesn't want to, but I don't know, man. I mean, Bryant's got depth, and even with some of the like, not, even some of his trades, whether he's taking on the risk as Barkley or whatever it is, dude's got depth in every place. I mean, he's kind of just like he sold off some of his players earlier today, and I don't really hate it. It's like I mean, he's just got so much depth right now, and a lot of his pieces were actually panning out. So DeAndre Swift could be the pick of the year. Just putting it out
Could
there
be.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, before the season started in the last couple of weeks, we've kind of been like, oh, he'll come back to earth and everything, but I don't know, man. 5 weeks in a row, like, and you're just putting up around 100 points, 110 every week. I mean, it's hard to argue against.
Yeah, it's definitely he's making
He's
a really
talking
good
sense.
case. Yeah, I mean, he's talking sense. Like, how are you gonna hate on the man? Dude's 5-0, put up over 100 points a game. I mean,
I am
I,
gonna
I,
point out the DJ Moore bullshit. 41 points from him. God.
well, yeah, it is funny too because like we got like obviously Brian was fired up from what we were talking about like 3 TDs again, and then of course immediately a couple days later goes out there puts up 3 TDs. I'm like, you gotta be
Yeah.
fucking kidding me. But hey, you know what, man? It's like he's backing it up, so maybe we're the ones talking shit. We're
Yeah.
definitely talking shit. We're always
Yeah,
talking shit.
definitely.
Let's be real. And then yeah, on the flip side of that, Trone, man, those throbbing hogs. It's like it's weird this year for him. It's like he'll have a bunch of good things happen all at once, and then a bunch of bad things happen all at once, and it's just like he's riding this like roller coaster of emotions with all of them. Lose a couple
Hmm.
running backs, makes a trade, also gets like probably the waiver pickup of the year. Great moves.
Yeah.
And then, HN or God, I can't even say his name. It's still I'm calling him HN. I still like we'll
Yeah, no,
figure it
that's
out
right.
one
It's
day.
HN. Yeah.
HN, right? Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
He starts popping off, and then all of a sudden it's just like this wave of injuries come through again. I mean, I know he's frustrated. I would be frustrated too. It's like you make moves, you think you do the right things, and then all of a sudden you get some more injuries, and then it's like, oh, wait a second. Hey, some of these guys I drafted and we're hoping to pan out, starting to do some stuff. Oh, nope, here comes some more injuries again.
Yeah. Also, the random underperformances from like Trevor Lawrence or Ramondre. It
Or your
seems like
boy
someone.
Cam Akers.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not
Shut up
forget he
about Cam
drafted Cam
Akers.
Akers to be his RB2, and look where he's at now.
Yeah, he's
So,
hanging out with the Dirtle Squad.
yeah, thank God he found a home, right?
Yeah, he's a good boy.
And then last note, I'd probably say Red, the worst team in the league right now.
Yeah, that is a sad looking man, and I don't blame him for having a fucking migraine after this week.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it too. I would have no
Plays
problem telling
Aaron
this.
Jones. Aaron Jones again, and he's out.
It is so tough. Well, that Jones thing, I was watching that. I mean, like, yeah, they're saying he was still kind of banged up. He was going to play, and then all of a sudden, it's just like, no, he's not playing now. And it's like, oh, it's too late.
Yep, we'll just fucking keep him in. Dark Lord let him down. Yeah, it's looking scary for what's his team name now? Manifestation Sensation.
Yeah, I'd have no problem telling it straight to his face that he's got the worst team in the league. It's just the injuries and the players not panning out. He's gonna have to make some moves. Dark Lord, man. I mean, he's got some
Yep.
other pieces too. It's not like you couldn't trade. It's not like somebody wouldn't take Aaron Jones or Debo Samuel. Shit, people probably still take a flyer on Joe Burrow at this point. How
Yeah.
weird the situation in QBs are. It's like
Hmm.
maybe you just cut your losses with him, let somebody else who could potentially hang on to him and see if he actually pans out, take that gamble, and you go do the carousel. I mean, that's kind of what I was doing. Like, trying to ride out Danny Dimes. I only did it for a couple weeks because they were god awful. And I really
Disgusting
don't
to
believe in the
watch.
G-Men, and I also hate the G-Men. I don't want any part of them on my team, except for Wandale.
Wandale.
But yeah, so that's the recap.
Yeah. Hey, we missed one. Me
Who
putting
we
a
got?
wall on B. Johns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really
You're
just
right.
wanted to bring it up so I could tell B. Johns to get bent.
You know, B. Johns has that big week, makes some moves. I'm like, wow, look at B. Johns go.
Yeah, he's
And then
moving.
here we are again. 1-4, buddy. Just right where you belong. And guess what? Your roomie there, he's going right down there with you. I mean, he got his dub this week, but I mean, hey, you boys down in San Diego got nice toilet seats down there.
That's fantastic.
Can't wait to play you this week, B. Johns. If I lose to you, it'll be extremely painful, but oh
Yeah,
so
maybe the
satisfying when
steels
I win.
steels start floating back to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, that floating turd.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty interesting week, kind of ho-hum. At the same time, there was some juice there and a couple of surprises, I'd say, than what we were kind of originally anticipating. Let's go over the trades real quick here. I want to take a look at them because we did have some action this week.
Okay. Ones and twos.
Thinking, yeah, ones and twos. So I actually like the idea that Nut was doing on the Nut Report this last week, or I guess today. And then kind of like what we were trying to do last week, and I've seen Gobby Talks do this, but talking about like more the philosophical sides of our league, because our league is much more in depth than just opening up an app, glancing over some players and stuff. I mean, it's funny because, and we talk about it every year, like how we like talk about other people's leagues and whatnot, and it's just like when we talk about ours compared to others, I mean, it's just so different. Like that we're on a whole different level than some of these other guys. I think I'm jumping ahead of myself, but I just started going down this rabbit hole of thinking about. I'm really into the philosophical part of our league, but let's just go. We'll go through these real quick.
Yep.
So, is this the latest one or the earliest one in the week, right?
I believe this would be the earliest one, or actually, no,
Yeah.
yours would be.
No, we already talked about mine last week.
Yeah, that's fine. Damian Pierce, your sick one.
Yeah, so if I remember right, what
was the draft?
Let me see. I think
here at Wilson Time, we're always on point.
I can't remember. I want to say it was it $20?
I feel like it was 20 because I know it wasn't 15.
It wasn't 15 because I feel like we would remember that part of it. Yep, it is 20. Just found it. Okay, so $20 a nut. He gets Damian Pierce. Brian gets his boy Barkley. Initial thoughts?
When it first came through on my phone, I didn't like it because I liked Damian Pierce more, and it was giving up a pretty sizable chunk of change. But I do get the drive to want to get a player on your team that you're like the Giants, obviously, Giants fan. I do understand that. Like when I saw Devontae hit the trade block, I was like, a Raider. But let's see something.
Well, give me my thoughts.
Yeah, I think the trade itself will just be pretty balanced, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't really know why Brian would have wanted to outside of just the fandom for Barkley. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, Barkley is a superior player, but man, dude, I mean, it's like you got to look at the situations at hand. Dameon Pierce has been running behind a ghost of an offensive line. So is Barkley.
Yep.
But dude, like the Texans actually have somewhat of like an offense. You got Tank Dell, you got Nico Collins, CJ Stroud's actually been playing well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're doing things, they're winning games. The Giants, when you just look at the eyeball test, I mean, it's like, dude, you look at the Giants and they're just getting shit on every week. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter like who they're
absolutely.
playing, you know, and like Danny Dimes hasn't been doing anything, so it's just hard because like I think Saquon is the better player,
Mm-hmm.
but
Athletic was.
if you look at just kind of where we're at right now in the season and what's going on with the two teams that they play for, I'd much rather be on the Dameon Pierce side. And maybe you're not going to, you know, it's like Barkley, you can get whatever, 20, 30, maybe a 40-point week. He has that kind of capability.
Yeah, the explosion
Where,
games.
yeah, where Pierce is lower, but I'd say it just seems like it's a safer play. And also, you're not giving up $20 then. Like,
Yeah,
Brian
that's
had
that's. Go ahead.
Like Brown
Sorry.
has enough depth. I mean that's my last point. Brown has enough depth, right? It's like you got DeAndre Swift. Yeah, I get Javonte Williams went down, but I think he traded him before Javonte went down. I can't remember. But regardless, it doesn't even matter. You still got James Cook, DeAndre Swift, and you have Dameon Pierce. Like, what's the need for Barkley? You know, if you're gonna go get an elite guy, why not like package the two of those guys and try to get Christian McCaffrey or I don't know, you know, something like that.
Yeah, something more reliable when you are talking about the eye test on the teams. Yeah, the Texans actually look like they have a chance to do something this year. Might not go far, but that's a young team and they have some energy. But the Giants look like absolute dog doo doo, and like you said, no offensive line. So it's like if they're just gonna pound Saquon, give him the rock every fucking like he's gonna get hurt again if they keep doing that.
Yeah,
And
also
Dameon Pierce, if they got CJ Stroud airing out the ball, they're not, he's going to get more rest time in the game. So I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. I mean that's all I really got on it. It's tough. The whole question of like being throwing your loyalty to your actual fan base aside, you know, with your team. Like, I always want to
Hmm.
have a Cowboy on my team, but you just have to kind of know the situations at hand with your own team and also what's going on with your actual team,
Yeah, absolutely.
which would lead into my next point with one of the other trades there.
Yeah.
But
One, two, three into the
yeah, I mean there
four.
was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of trades. So just kind of blow
Yeah.
through these. I don't get
Is
the
there cash on
obsession.
this one?
No cash. That was just straight up players.
Okay.
I don't know. Hey, B. Johns, I feel like you were getting better offers for Goddard. I don't know what the hell the obsession is with Josh Palmer is. Like, I'm not even just saying with B. Johns. Like, apparently there's a lot of people that really like Josh Palmer. I'm not saying he's bad, but give me something. I'd rather have Quentin Johnson, you know, to do that all the hype. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I like Josh Palmer, you know.
see, I guess you're
Uh,
one of those people. Yeah, I don't know.
I know I
Me,
understand that. I was in trade talks with Cal to like consider getting Palmer. It didn't work out, but with Mike Williams going down, it was like, yeah, okay, he's gonna be like number two, number one. So I understand that part of it.
yeah, no, I get that part of it, but like Quentin Johnson was drafted to be the Mike Williams replacement eventually. So you kind of think like, all
Eventually.
right, but who knows? I mean, maybe I'm just not seeing someone Josh Palmer. It's also more of a
Yeah.
low key trade, so it's not like the end of the world. Cal does get some dividends from that Goddard. It's got to be nice to see that for his team.
Hmm.
And B. Johns moves on from having two tight ends just down to his one fuck machine. So nothing wrong with that. Keep on fucking, buddy.
Hmm. Well, continuing on the B. John stock, this next trade,
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I didn't like it either. You go if you would like to lead with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. everything that I've read and heard, and we'll get into the validity of what we hear online, but basically everyone's saying that Lockett's getting old and he's basically going to lose his job and his targets to DK and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then, I don't know, Michael Thomas is on an offense that, if you want to take a bet on DC4, I mean, you can do that. But he also gave him like $15, didn't he?
Gave him $9.
$12? $9. Okay. Yeah, I don't like it. What are your thoughts, Willie?
Yeah, same thing, right? Maybe it's just like Tyler Lockett's always been kind of one of those guys that I've just never been a fan of. But yeah, I mean, if you are a believer in the articles, I love my articles. Pretty much everybody was saying sell Tyler Lockett. So I knew as soon as Nut put him on the trading block, that's kind of what it was. He was over him as well. And I'm not saying Tyler Lockett's a bum. He's not going to do anything.
Right.
It's just him and Michael Thomas. Like, Michael Thomas could arguably, like, I like Michael Thomas more than Tyler Lockett right now. But $9 draft dollars, like, I don't know if I'd be paying that much. Like, I don't know if there should be even draft dollars in that trade. Maybe Fab.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do draft dollars like 3 max, I don't know. But
yeah, it should have just been a players trade.
Yeah. So does it make Nuts team elevate even more? I don't think so. I think it was more lateral than we're kind of thinking.
Yeah, it was lateral on the players, but I mean, Nut gets the cash, so it's incentive for him
Nut
to do
gets
it.
the cash. Well, also, I mean, I do like Michael Thomas more too. So if I'm Nut, I would be making that trade regardless if there's cash or not.
Yeah, stuff. Lockett gets those deep balls, but I mean, it's not. I don't know. DK is just way more like sexy of a player to go after.
Yeah.
Or Jackson Smith and Jigba for the upside.
Right.
Moving
okay,
along.
So this one right here. So this is actually kind of going back to what we were talking about with the fandom thing and the loyalty to your team. So when I saw this trade go through, initially I was like, whoa, there's some big names in there, and especially mine and Cal's boy, CD. But then when you actually take a step back, you really look at it, I think this move made a lot of sense for both teams. Like, I actually enjoy this trade. I feel like this was a good trade that played out like, you couldn't ask for like a better process of a trade here. So CD now gets the overall better player, and he also gets Elijah Moore, which is a nice little depth piece. I'll take Elijah Moore. We already know how I feel about him. But Cal gets Amari Cooper and Detroit Lions D. So the defense helps out for him because he's streaming all the time.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions have a good D. And then Amari, I don't think is like at this point right now, based off of what we're seeing at the Cowboys, and then like how Amari's been playing, and they're both kind of boomer bust. And so, like, yes, I do think CD is a better player, taking him on my team. But as far as like fantasy purposes go, and kind of where Cal's at with his team and where Nuts at with his team, like, there's not much of a separation there. So for Cal, he recuperates some money that he spent with the whole Cooper Kupp thing, and he still gets a reliable, like a good player back. Like Amari Cooper could be easily a wide receiver too, a nice one for you.
Yeah, and he also gets the stack having Deshaun.
Yeah, in the stack. And then for Nut, he gets the upside that he's looking for with CD. It's like, I think Nut really wanted like that alpha wide receiver. I'm trying to think of who's on his team right now. He got Amon-Ra, but he's kind of dealing with the injuries. Nut's just dealing with a lot of injuries and stuff. And so, I don't know, CD hasn't been as consistent, but the boom is there. Like, he's got that upside that you can get like a huge week. But, you just got to be willing to take the risk of having those low weeks too. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think that because this trade happened after the Dak showing on Sunday night, I don't blame Cal for wanting to move on from CD, just because, I mean, if Dak continues to play like he did last year in that last game, it'd be kind of like a shaky start to start CD, but like you said, he has the upside and the potential to boom or bust. And I also don't blame Cal for trading for a defense, even though that might, like, in normal terms look weird, because he got burned to streaming defenses literally every single week that he did it, and he's probably like, dude, fuck this. I just need to have a defense that gets me, I don't know, 5 points.
I know it's still mind blowing with the inflated scoring that Cal's sitting there, getting negative points and everything. I get it. I mean,
Over
dude,
3 weeks.
there's been a couple of matchups where I'm like, this should be serviceable, and then all of a sudden you get nothing. It's like, even with the scoring, come on now. So I get it. Yeah, totally get
Okay,
it.
want to keep
COD
going?
buying Jared Goff, whatever. Yeah, Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson's hurt. That dude needs to protect himself. I mean, the way he's playing
Dude, yeah, he's out
football,
there getting smoked.
bro, he's not gonna make it through he's not gonna make it in the NFL if he keeps playing like that. I'm like,
Yeah,
these are
one of
all
the coaches need to
gigantic
tell him
grown
something.
men. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of those running quarterbacks that you see coming from out of college, they always talk about that, like, hey, you need to protect yourself. Like, I think Jalen Hurts was kind of getting that talk when he was first starting to start Kyler Murray. And it's like, dude, you got to, like, everybody here is gigantic. They're all extremely fast and they're all extremely strong. It's not like college
Hmm.
where there's, like, a difference in athleticism. It's like everybody's fucking good. So,
Yeah, everyone wants to blast you too. They're not just gonna
yeah,
not hit you.
you're going to get rocked. But,
Hmm.
and then Brian selling off Dotson and
Mike Wilson.
Mike Wilson there. I think it was $5 draft cash. Yeah, I think that's
Hmm.
totally fine. Like I
Yeah,
said, Brian's got
sure.
so much depth. Like, might as well do something with it. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
get
he wants to
something
make a
for it.
move on the waiver, and he can't even do anything because he doesn't feel good about dropping any of his guys. And for Mike, yeah, round out your team with some more depth. I mean, you can. It's never gonna be frowned upon to have more depth on your team,
Absolutely.
And for 5 draft bucks, like shit, man, Dawson got drafted for more, so
Yeah, might
yeah,
as well liquidate a little piece and move along.
no, I'm totally cool with it. So, all right,
Hmm.
well, that's the recap there. Yeah, a lot more movement. I mean, kind of like we were talking about in the episodes in the last couple weeks, expected to see some more movement. And I think recently, it's just like all this trade talk and stuff, whether it's like the philosophies behind it, the actual trading of it. You can tell there's a buzz in the air right now. There's a lot of activity. And a lot
Hmm.
of people are trying to like hop on board and make some moves. Some people are like sitting, waiting in the shadows, but they're closely observing, maybe pulling on their putt a little bit. Who knows? And ready to hop in on
pulling
the
on
action.
pulling on my putt in the dark.
Yeah, you're like the creepy bum over there in the tunnel. It's like, all right, so good stuff. Okay, kind of going back to what we were talking about before. So, just talking about like the different aspects of the league and how we are a superior league than others.
We're the best.
No, but on a real note, I would just say that our league, we do elevate our game, whether it's the actual fantasy part of it, whether it's the drafts that we have, or the efforts in creating shows and media content. It's there's nothing out there that I've seen with anybody like that's in our I've heard about like others in the league talking about like, oh, talking to these people about their draft, or people I've personally seen with their own drafts. It's like ours is very unique. And so um what I want to start doing with the Wilson time is kind of bringing something a little different, talking about different nuances that happen within our league, and whether it's more of like philosophical teachings or if it's just something funny. I don't, it could be a whole plethora of things because I feel like there's so much more that comes out of our league that's rich in content that we could talk about compared
Hmm.
to just doing like our normal analyzing. Like I do enjoy the analytics part of it and breaking down the matchups and talking all that, but I think it's time to really elevate and broaden our scope about what we discuss. So going into this episode, and this will start with this, right? I was kind of thinking to myself about just some of the things, like thinking about all these different things, right? And I'm like, we'll dial in, do different episodes of be like certain segments of like something we want to talk about more in depth. But I was
Sure.
kind of just thinking about for today's segment, the different aspects of the league or the draft that play a part in everything that we do. And so it's kind of almost like when we did our Would You Rather game at the draft. So, Dirtle, just you and I today.
Yep.
I will go ahead and read out, and you know what to do with the ticker there, and we'll throw it up
Yep.
there, and let's discuss on each one of these different
I love it.
topics. So,
Can I add something before we get into it?
sure.
Just talking about how like cool and like upper echelon the league as a whole is, the level of like activity in the league. So we have multiple people creating shows. When people post the shows, everyone in the league responds to them and likes and gives commentary on what the show said. I think that's what separates us from other leagues. So DVFFL for life.
Yeah, no, I 100% wholeheartedly agree.
Now let's move into some tantalizing topics.
Well, what do we have on the docket?
First one's
All
real good.
right. So, this one, the Jackbox really was a big hit this year. So, let's talk about who is more iconic that came from this year's draft. And man, did we have it was hard, trying to narrow down all the different characters that came through. 'Cause there was a lot of good ones, a lot of contenders.
Yeah. A lot of
But we came down
creativity
to
built into them.
oh yes. We came down to three though. We have Pud Pounder, your boy DC 40 Hands, and then my beloved mother, Brenda.
Brenda had to make the list.
I mean, Brenda was iconic. I didn't like the depiction of her, but as far as
a side profile, just ass titty.
as far as being a badass, yes, Brenda has to be up there. So let's talk about it. Pud Pounder. I mean, the Puds were pretty much the theme of the draft, right? And so, who better than the Pud Pounder? I mean, he was real muscular, ready to pound Pud any given moment.
He looked like a Pud.
He's been pounding Pud his whole life.
Yeah, he looks like a Pud that pounds other people's Puds. Pounds other people's Puds.
Or other Puds are pounding his Pud.
Yeah, exactly. Just get over here.
Yeah, get over here. Need a good Pud pound, okay?
Yep.
And then you got DC 40 Hands.
Beautiful. I wish we still had the drawings, or like we would have taken a picture of them.
I know. DC 40 Hands was great, man. I mean, he caught me so off guard. I remember him popping up on the screen. I was like, what am I reading right now? And then it was like, oh, it's just a dude with 240.
Yeah, it is fucking DC.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Carr, I guess. Was it actually Derek Carr? Is that what we're saying?
I think it was supposed to be.
Yeah, Derek Carr with 240s.
Yeah, because we call him DC4, so just add a 0 on there.
Yeah,
He's got his hands taped up.
And then, yes, we have Brenda. So, who's more iconic?
Okay, I have multiple thoughts on this. So,
let's hear
I feel like, here I'll rank them for you and see if we agree on them. So, I feel like Pud Pounder has to be number 1, and here's why. Okay. Pud has been so consistent in the chat. I'm pretty sure that every team in the DVFFL has a player nicknamed with some form of Pud in it. Whether it's Pud Pounder, more Pud, Pud Please, whatever. So there's that aspect. But Pud Pounder just looked like he looked like he was in the G unit. Yeah, so he's number 1. And then I go, For me, I gotta go Brenda number 2.
I
How can you not love Brenda, right?
mean, I
Uh,
love her to death.
yeah, I think the whole league does too. And then DC 40
Get your
hands is
point
third.
out. Let's go.
Okay, I'm coming. Okay, and then DC 40 hands is third. And I only say that because it was, I was a DC 4 fan, when he was on the Raiders, obviously. Now he's off, and watching him on TV, I fucking hate him. I'm so glad that he's gone. So, I mean, the name lives on with my Saints defense, though. So, yeah, there you have it.
No, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to really want to fully like comment on all this because Brenda's in there, but it's got to be the Pud Pounder. I mean, Pud was the name of the game the entire
Hmm.
time we're at the draft. It's still going on, and who better to represent all those Puds out there than the Pounder himself?
I
I
know,
mean,
right?
just yeah, he was just like you were talking about. He's just like a complete unit. Like he's from the G unit there, and like
Strong guy.
yeah, strong guy. I can see him with a pair of shades on going into the club, pounding whatever pud he wants to pound.
I like how he's a pud that pounds other pounds.
But I did really like DC 40 hands. I mean,
Yeah, it
maybe
was creative.
it's creative yet it's simple because I just think of like a worn down drunk playing Edward 40 hands by himself. It's like this is what his life has come to. He used to be great and now he just drinks
Yeah,
40. So
it's just slamming fucking Steel Reserve, baby.
hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so agreeance, Pud Pounder.
Yep, Pud Pounder wins.
Okay, well, we did better than I thought. All
Yeah.
right, so more influential, and I think this is a very interesting topic. It goes right where Nut was talking about in the Nut Report today about red zone, how it has this kind of influence on what we see, how we perceive some of the players. Got
Hmm.
me thinking today. Called out Darth Nuttius before with his own propaganda, right?
Right.
So, begs the question, which is more influential, the DVFFL shows versus the third-party media?
Well then, I think there's two arguments to it. Or there's two type of people that would have an argument. So I think for the people in the league that don't do a lot of in-season research, that the DVFFL shows are very influential on what types of moves they make and what types of players they trade for or put on the block or something like that. And I think the people that do, the in-season research, the third-party media will affect them more. Like we were just saying with the Tyler Lockett trade, like maybe B.
Yeah.
Jones just didn't see that and he didn't research it, and then we wouldn't have done it, but he did. So it's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, no, 100%. So what you're saying is it's like just depends on the person. It's person dependent, right?
I think so,
So
yeah.
those who put more time in that reading articles or listen to podcasts, the third party media are going to have that influence, where those who would rather just spend that time and dedicate it to watching our show, our
Yeah, just
report,
throw on
Copy
the
Talk,
Podly. Yeah.
yeah, or whatever it is. That's like their source of, I guess, information.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? I'm a huge articles guy, love my articles, but I am a big believer in like tools and like the in-season research, like trade analyzers. Sometimes it kind of just depends, there's a whole plethora of stuff, but it does weigh pretty heavily on my decision making. So I lean towards more of the third party media because for my own personal sake, I, listening to like, and I'm not going to say like professionals per se, but listening to more of like what the analytics, the tools and everything at your disposal with some of these research websites, and also like some of the the guidance, like using things as a reference in the articles to be able to make my own judgment calls has more of an impact than, say, if I were to listen to the Nut Report or Gobby Talks. And not to say that those shows don't play some sort of part in my head. Like, I've been the first to admit it, that when I listen to not Gobby, but Nuts trade episodes, you know, his episodes there that he's like, okay, I feel like this would be the trade, these guys and stuff. It is very interesting, and it does make some stuff click in my brain, as I'm sure it does with others, because you're seeing it from a different perspective, like you're seeing it from Nuts' perspective, right? Which we all admire and respect. So you're getting that perspective from him, but also when you're doing that too, you are kind of like putting some of the puzzle together yourself alongside of what Nuts talking about. So, like, I can come up with an idea of a trade using the suggestion of Nut there as the basis. It doesn't necessarily have to be that same exact trade, but I can kind of morph around it. It's like, oh, I didn't really think about even this member over here with what he's got going on. Maybe, yeah, I should go tap into that, So it does have some sort of.
I totally agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's like, is it more influential than the analytics part of it? And I guess it just, like you said, depends on the person. But we have to answer this. So
I have my answer.
And you're going with?
I'm going DVFFL shows, surprisingly.
I think I actually will side with you.
Ooh,
because
okay.
I'm thinking that the third-party media more from my own point of view, where I feel like they always say know your league, right? Like, that's one of the main rules in fantasy football. Know your league. If I know our league, like I think I know it, people care more about our media content and what we have to say, and I think it sticks more in people's brain than going and reading some sort of research articles.
Yeah, I mean, having your friend analyze your league is way better than some random person on YouTube talking about the players just in general.
Well, you got to think too, it's all about, it's not like I'm sitting here preaching that me, Nut, Gobby, you, Red, or anybody that comes on one of the shows know, like, oh, we're the ones talking about stuff, so we know more or whatever. Like, we're the professionals. We just decided to make
I don't know shit.
Yeah, we just decided to make a show. So, but that's kind of the thing. It's like, it's not so much about being like the professional, right? It's more about when you get more people, and that's what I love about Gobby Talks, right? Is when he first started doing it and bringing on a different member each week, I was like, oh, this is like exactly what I've been kind of craving. Is I want perspective from each person. I want to see how everybody else is viewing the league, and if you want to go even deeper into that, each week that goes by, right, we go further into the season, so people's mindsets are shifting. So I want to see how that person's viewing the season in that point in time or up into it.
Absolutely. I want to give Nut a quick shout out really quick. On his, on the pod league that came out today, doing the little fireside chat, he was talking about trying to figure out like the thought process behind the talking heads and articles, how they get to the results. What is their thought process on saying this player is going to go up or this player is going to go down? And you and I, we know that very well, because on Saturday nights we'll be like looking at betting lines and everything. And I remember we both saw that betting line that said to take the Broncos 3.5 over, who were they playing?
They're playing the Dolphins.
Yeah. He said take them on 3.5 on the spread. And his reasoning literally, and he was like one of the top guys like making bet picks. His reason was like, in 1975, the Broncos had a running back and they beat the Dolphins. So make the bet. Like, wait, that's your thought process? Are you insane?
Yeah, no, totally. We did have this discussion the other day. So listen to Nut talk about it. You're right. It's like it's so hard to read the professionals, right? And just completely buy into what they're saying. I mean, it's all you got to take everything in with a grain of salt and process it as your own. But
Oh
I
yeah.
do feel like if they want the spotlight on somebody, they'll make sure the spotlight's on somebody, right?
Hmm.
And like again, like what Noah was talking about, when you talking about red zone, it's like there's some teams where they don't have all the hype around them and stuff. And it's like, but they got fantasy relevant players. If they get in the red zone, like I want to see what's going on over there.
Hmm.
And sometimes they also just stick around like on some other team for no reason. Like, he's talking about Derrick Henry and stuff with the Titans. Yeah, I don't know why, but the Titans have been getting so much coverage on red zone. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, Derrick Henry might break one. And then he gets stuffed or whatever. It's like a 2 yard gain.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh,
Hmm.
maybe next time. And I'm like, dude, get the hell off this game, man. Take me to where the action is.
Absolutely.
But okay, so we agree DVFFL shows. Hell yeah, brother. That's where we've come up in this league right here. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
when no started doing, I think Garrett was the first one to ever like come out with it wasn't even a show. He just made a damn recording and shitting on the person he was going to play that week. Pretty good actually. He did it pretty nice. It was like a little montage. Very respectable. But as we've gone over time, like to where we're at now, I mean, it's only a matter of time, man. I mean, we're getting views on YouTube every time I post a Wilson time. I don't know who's watching it, and it can't make any sense to any randos out there because you have to know like who we are and like all the jokes and everything. But we're doing something, and we're continuing to do it. So
Yeah. If
go
a stranger sees this,
DVFFL.
yeah, if a stranger saw this show, they'd be like, "Why do they talk about Pud so much?"
Yeah, what's this obsession with Pud?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. You want to do the next one?
yeah, let's go.
Cool. What is more important, drafting well versus in-season management?
Well, you already know I'm going with this one. It's got to be in season management. I will say it again, as I've said it before. You can't win the league in your draft, but you could sure as hell lose it. It's all about managing your team throughout the year.
Fair
So
enough.
you can draft as well as you want. It sets you up better, right? Obviously, get more assets to trade, or you're just teaching and going about your business. But you just know that there's going to be injuries. Some players are going to pan out the way you thought they would, and so or just weird situations happen. Look at the whole Cam Akers thing. I know we keep bringing that up, but that's not even to like poke fun. It's more just like dude was supposed to be a starter, get 22 carries the first week, and the next week you're off the team, buddy. It's like
Yeah, crazy.
it's the one-offs where terrible to say, but like you got like Ray Rice is punching somebody in the face or what something like that. It's like you just never know. So my whole point is in-season management is most important. Making the trades, working the waiver wire, setting yourself up for next year as well. There's I just think it's like more crucial and beneficial for you to have better in-season management because again, if you draft poorly, like yeah, it can definitely cost you that season. But as long as you like go into hyperdrive, then and you become great at your in-season management, I think there's definitely a strong chance you could pull yourself out of it. We've seen it from time and time again. Like Nut last year, the dude got decimated. I know his draft. It's not like his draft was bad, but I mean, talk about good in-season management. The man had to make trade after trade and like do some like wonky rebuilding kind of thing and hodgepodge a team together. He did just fine, right? I mean, he didn't make playoffs, but he didn't get a Sacco. And
Didn't
at
get a
that point,
Sacco, yeah.
yeah, that's where you're kind of trying to avoid, right? Um, Redmond, he did it a couple years ago where he sold off the team and still made the playoffs. It was like, how are you doing this? You went on like on some like I think it was like a 6-game winning streak or something. So just to me, then season management. If you can do that, then you don't have to worry about the draft so much.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. I feel like drafting well is the epitome of your team for the year. So if you do it bad, normally your team will stay bad unless you are selling all of your draft cash for the following year. I know that's funny for me to say, being, like a sophomore player in this league and you winning the championship last year, but I'm going to stand by it.
Let me ask you this, though, Turtle.
Sure.
Do you ever feel like it could be detrimental? And I'm not talking about just for you. I'm just saying just with any team. Can it be detrimental to where you draft so well that you believe in them, right? That you kind of put on blinders throughout the year, where like say like one of those players that you drafted and you're like, I just know they're gonna do well this year, top whatever. You just keep riding them, week in and week out. But maybe that production's not quite there, or maybe they're too boom bust or whatever it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like can be detrimental to a team where you drafted too well and it's like you fall in love with your players too much that you can't trade them, you won't trade them?
Yeah, no, I do think that can be detrimental. But I mean, there's two different like types of thoughts with that. I mean, if you're keeping players that are shit in the bed every week, you're not going to do well. But if you
Right.
drafted well and you're getting the production out of your players, then yeah, I think that makes you a candidate for like a 1 or 2 seed in the league.
Okay. So do you still, but then it goes back to like, how do you manage a team then if you drafted so well, right? Like, what
How
would
do
be
you
your
manage
level?
a team then?
Well, yeah, because like the whole question is, right, what's more important, drafting well or then season management? So,
Right.
as far as answering this question, which one's more important? If you're on the drafting well side where you drafted so well, do you just not really care about in season management as much as some?
Well, I think the idea is that if you draft really well, you don't have to do as much in-season management. Like Dill, if your team was scoring 100 points the last 4 weeks, I don't think you would be doing as much. Which makes sense. I mean, your team is doing well, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just asking the question. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, okay, let's play devil's advocate, right? I think that if you draft it so well and you fall in love with these players, right, you're like, I don't really need to make a change. But
Hmm.
then say you do have that like off week and you go, okay, something happened here. Or like, is there going to be a trend? Say it's 2 weeks in a row, but you're
Right.
not quite sure. It's not like they're shitting the bed every week. It's just more like, all right, maybe they're kind of going through something. Then how do you feel about then it kicks back into the in-season management, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, I feel like the blind faith can shoot you in the foot, definitely.
I just
Yeah.
think that no matter how well you draft, it like there's never been a team that I've seen so far in the 13 years we've been doing this where they drafted so well that they didn't have to do anything and they just rode it to a championship. I mean, Jesse may have been the closest one when he did it, but I still think he still was making some moves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to look at your own team and decide from there. But no, I definitely stand on the side of drafting well.
Nah, we're doing
But
season management. More important. You're talking to a 3-time champion over here compared to a
Jesus.
sophomore. Yeah, I was gonna say, sit
Yeah,
your ass
here we
down in the
go.
corner over there, Dirtle. You don't even know. Speak when spoken to.
Oh my
Ski.
God. All right. Yeah, we're moving on. So this is one that you need to shed light on because I'm not really sure which one means what. So I'll ask the question. What's the
No, no,
worst
no. Hold on.
situation?
Didn't we
Oh,
have one more of a rush? Where's the more of a rush one?
oh yeah, there is. Yeah.
Ones and
You clicked
twos,
over.
Dirtle.
No, you clicked on one
I'm
of
not the
them.
one in charge of the ones and twos. You are.
You were the one that pulled it up. All right, coming back. What's more of a rush, heat of the battle or the thick of the draft? So, the heat of the battle of your in-week opponent, watching your players play and score points, or is
Yeah.
it more of a rush when you're actually drafting and deciding on prices for players?
And what would be the most heated the battle, right? Would it be like you're in the championship and it's like games just kicked off? You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean,
Uh,
think of the draft. That's or like right when that first round of the draft.
mhm.
Ski.
Yeah, no. I mean, my answer for this would definitely be heat of the battle. There ain't nothing scarier than, I don't know, going into the Monday night game and down 10 and all you got is your kicker, you know? Like you're sitting on the edge of your seat, just clenching the whole way
Yeah,
through.
it's true. I'm gonna agree with you on this because I the thick of the draft or like when you go in the first couple rounds, I mean it's like there's an insane adrenaline rush,
Hmm.
but then you kind of have this like a little bit of comfort being like, okay, we got a whole season ahead of us, so who the hell knows how it's gonna shake out. But
Yeah, I mean,
the heat
based
of
off our last question, if,
yeah.
uh, I mean, yeah, okay. I feel confident in the draft. I mean, don't get me wrong. I sweat through my whole outfit when the draft starts. So,
I know. I was dying when Noah was talking about looking at everybody's faces and just kind of seeing like how people were processing things. I mean, I'm sure you looked at my face and I was just like perplexed over there, like, what's going on, dude? Like, dude, I remember everybody just kept coming at me like, why aren't you drafting somebody? And I'm like, I'm trying, man. The plan's not planning. It's like nothing's working
yeah,
right now. Um,
man.
but no, the heat of the battle, like, I'll speak for, when you go into that championship round there, buddy. And let me tell you a little tale here, Dirtle. I know
Oh
you haven't
God.
tasted that yet, but
Second
um,
season, buddy. Keep your put in your pants.
no, I would just say, yeah, especially when it's a big matchup. And it doesn't even have to be the championship, but there's been plenty of matchups. I can remember going into the last, week of the year and you're trying to make playoffs and it's like do or die. I think Jesse and I had one last year where either me or him, whoever won that matchup, made into playoffs.
That's right. Yep.
And so it's like when those games first start and you're going through it, and then it kind of depends how the structure of your guys' matchups laid out. But yeah, if you got some players going to Monday night, Sunday night, oh man, dude, there's just a lot of emotions going through that.
Oh man, my first experience in my first playoff game, that was the most anxiety I've ever had watching football. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Watching, it was back to back on red zone. It was Derrick Henry running to the goal line and tripping, and then they couldn't fucking punch it in, so I missed a touchdown there. And then on the flip side, I literally watched Ramondre Stevenson run like 50 yards to the end zone on the Raiders, and I was like, "What is happening?" I was screaming at the TV. Yeah, no, the heat of the battle
Yeah,
gets your blood boiling.
it does. It's like a tone setter too. I mean, it can ruin your day or it can make your day,
Yeah, I mean, look at you. You
maybe
know,
even a week.
you lose four games in a row, and then you win one, and you're back to talking about you being a champion.
I know, right? Wow, what a swing.
Hmm.
Hey, I will say, and I was gonna comment about this too, to what Nuts' point was. Man, like when you are losing and you have like a show, if we have Wilson Time here, he's got no report. It's like, dude, you want to, you still want to be engaged, right? You want to like still put that effort into what you're talking about, how you're talking about things, like bring the energy, whatever it is. It's like you got to put the pressure on yourself because, like, man, we got fans, dude. It's like the show
Hmm.
has to go on. So even if I go 0-14, it's like you still got to stand up here. But god damn, is it tough, man? You try to just make yourself feel better by coming up with ridiculous sounding segments and puns and whatever else to just keep you afloat.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, we got the victory, so it's fine. We're good. All right, heat of the battle. I like that.
All right, and
now let's get to the ultimate question.
Okay, ones and the twos. Beep, beep, beep. Okay. What is the worst situation? Oh, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Yeah, thank you. Worst situation.
You're welcome.
I was thinking about this, beforehand. And I was like, I'll probably have to be the one to say it to like give some context so it actually makes sense. But what's the worst situation? Getting caught with your pud in your hand, or having your pud stuck in the mud? Now we had to clarify. It's not getting your pud stuck in the mud. So you're not in the act of like, getting it in the mud there. It's already in the mud.
Right.
It's stuck. You're yanking on it. You're trying to pull back, and it's just not coming out of the mud. So now the mud could be taken to all kinds of things, right? The mud could be putting your pud in some place that you shouldn't be putting it. Which I don't know if everybody's been there, but that's a very hairy situation. No pun intended. No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Or, having your pud could be more of like an analogy. Like having your pud stuck in the mud could be more of an analogy, right? Like your team is stuck in one spot. You're not moving forward. You're like spinning. You don't know what to do with it. And then getting caught with your pud in your hand. So, I mean, just imagine the scenario. You're sitting there pulling out your pud at home.
And Brenda walks in.
No, not Brenda, because everybody else would be just fine with that. It's your grandmother. Your grandmother walks in, and you're just yanking on your pud.
Yuck.
I mean, it's pretty embarrassing, right? Like, that's a horrible situation.
Mm-hmm.
Or, again, with the more philosophical version of getting caught with your pud in your hand, you make some moves and you think it's going to play on your favor and you lose, or you make a trade and you're like, oh, this could be better for my team. Turns out to be worse.
Everyone gives you shit for making the trade.
Everyone gives you shit for making the trade. So what is the worst situation? We can go literal or we can go philosophical. However you'd like to go about this pud talk.
Oh, man. I would say it's definitely worse getting caught with your pud in your hand. The embarrassment, you can't live through it. Like, you can't sweep it under the rug. Everyone knows it happened. And, yeah, I wouldn't ever want to get caught with my pud in your hand.
Okay. I do agree. I'll never forget getting caught with my pud in my hand by Maverick's dad.
What?
Well, it wasn't just me. We got caught doing something with my pud, right? And it was.
Oh, what?
Okay, like essentially, I was going to get laid by one of my exes from in high school, and his dad walked in because the door was shut and stuff. And yeah, anyways, it wasn't quite like my pud was in my hand. Like I was standing there like holding my pud, but you get caught in the act of it, and it's super embarrassing.
Fair enough. I'll have to ask you some more questions about this situation afterwards.
Yeah, we don't have to go into detail.
Where does Maverick fit in there?
It was at his. Never mind. It was at his parents' house, high school. Yeah, we didn't. I mean, it was your car was trying to sneak somebody somewhere in a place.
Yeah.
But anyways, point is, getting caught with your pud in your hand is incredibly embarrassing. I don't care what the situation is. No matter what, if you get caught while you're trying to pull on your pud, it's always going to be embarrassing. Could be your friend, could be your family, could be a rando. Maybe the rando turns into a cool situation. I don't know. But I will say one thing. Having your pud stuck in the mud, I think is worse because one, your pud shouldn't be in there, but it's in there. So that's very suspect.
Hey,
And
that's a good point. Realizing that your pud's stuck in the mud and you just going with it, yeah, that's a terrible feeling.
yeah, it's like I'd rather just have the embarrassment, but knowing that my pud's safe, I'm safe, compared to my pud being in the mud and you just never know what's going to come out of that. I mean, there's so many questions afterwards, and you're thinking about life and
Where did my pud go?
or again, it's like if you're stuck in the mud with your pud, I mean, you're just standing still. You're not going anywhere. You're not going forward. You're not going backwards. I mean, man, what kind of life is that?
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
what kind of life is that for your pud? And it's just
Hmm.
stationary. I don't feel like a pud should ever be stationary like that.
Keep moving that pud. Keep pounding that pud.
I mean, what's our motto at Wilson time?
Yeah, don't forget, boys. Keep pounding that pud.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're talking about fantasy terms, like I'd rather take the blow on the chin there about no pun intended.
No pud intended. Blowing on my chin.
I would rather take the blow. I would rather lose in my trade. That's what I should be saying, or whatever, or make the wrong line of decision than never really having the opportunity. It's just like my team just standing still, like nobody's doing anything. It's not like anybody's booming and
Hmm.
busting. They're just doing nothing. It's like you're just spinning gears there.
Yeah, for sure.
All
Okay.
right, so do we agree? Worst situation, pud the bud.
Yeah, I guess I am switching my answer because I was gonna say getting caught with your pud in their hand, but yeah, pud in the mud, no good. Hey, let's move up to this week's matchups.
Yeah,
We
I
are
know. We got.
pushing hour and 10.
Yeah. All right, let's blast through 'em. All
Okay,
right,
hold
good
on.
segment though. I really thoroughly enjoyed that. To our
Yeah, that was
new
good.
viewers out there on YouTube, we're not that obsessed with puds.
Yeah, we are.
It's just kind of funny to talk about.
All right, you got to pick my matchup. Playing against Cleaner this week.
Yeah, okay, let's get to it. Click on her. Let me
Yes,
see.
sir. Ones and
Tough
twos.
one. Yeah. Um, wow, it's actually way tougher than I was expecting. Keep going down. I need to see more.
Oh, wait, really? The projection, I projected to beat him by almost 20 points.
Yeah, I don't care about projections, bud.
All right.
I'm gonna go clean machine, bud.
Wow, dude. Well, all right, fair enough. Congrats, Alec. No
Dude,
way he's beating me.
the Minnesota's defense is so doo-doo, and like Justin Fields is coming alive. Sam Laporta, that's your boy right there. He's good at football, remember?
Yeah, he's good at football.
It's gonna
He's
be really.
good at catching.
Look, I'll just say this. This would be like the closest matchup of the week, and it's very tough to pick. I could easily see it going both ways. I think it's going to come down to like, you know, the last seconds of some game or, that kind of feel into it. So I'm gonna have to give it to Cleaner there. He's on a roll. I like his
Oh,
matchups too. I think the
yeah,
the projections aren't reflecting properly to what some of his boys have been doing lately. So fuck the projections,
yeah,
anyways.
yeah. Another number they're just pulling out of their ass, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me get this going.
All right, so
In that matchup, I would pick me, but okay. All right,
okay,
moving on.
gotcha.
Yeah, moving on to Sun Gods versus Huffs Puffs.
Why don't you go ahead on this turtle?
Okay. take a looky here. Man, that fucking Tua's name I still is catching my eye every time I look at it.
An eye catcher, man. Good job,
Mm-hmm.
Robbie. We knew a pile of gibberish would catch one of our eyes.
Okay, Dameon Pierce is playing the Saints D.
We're just a bunch of simple-minded folk around here.
Yeah. Amon-Ra is out.
Yeah.
Wait, is Eckler back?
He said that there's a 99% chance he's playing against the Cowboys.
Fair enough. I'm probably gonna give this one to Nut if Eckler's back and he's got CD now, and his team was pretty aight before that.
Okay.
So Gobby drops 2 in a row.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Annie Lingus Incorporated.
Yeah, hold on. 1s and 2s.
The Gas X Probiotics. Still a mouthful for me there, Jaden.
Yeah, I know. Medicine.
Hey, shout out to
name.
Jaden too, sweet baby. Congratulations. I know we've all been saying it in there, but man, I love seeing you in that suit that you had. That was so drippy, dude. I mean, you look so
clean.
good. Yeah, beautiful looking wedding too. I mean, it was the whole vibe. I was checking out people's stories there, so hope you're having a good honeymoon. And
yeah,
let's go ahead and see if you're gonna pull this one out this week. So
yeah, congrats, Jaden. All right.
Oh, dude, CMC versus Zeke. Keep going.
All right.
Well, Justin, I mean,
Ooh.
yeah, he's out, right? So
Interesting.
I don't know. It makes his team, dude, when he doesn't have that JJ in there, I mean, it makes his team look way different.
Yeah, Tank Dell. Man, Drake London, yucky.
Mm-hmm.
This, wow.
I'm gonna lean Jaden.
Really, even with JJ out?
Yeah, I just think Christian McCaffrey's too much. I mean, I don't know, it could be Patrick Mahomes, but like maybe they shit on the Broncos and then just pull him. I just like some of Jaden's other players compared to Trikes, but I mean, dude, it's gonna be. Look at the projection. Yeah, it's gonna be super close.
It's gonna be neck and neck.
I'm rooting for Trike because I need Jaden to come down another notch, but I just don't know, man. This is like one of those matchups. It's almost like it's just like Patrick Mahomes versus Christian McCaffrey, who can outproduce the other one. Because I feel like who's ever main hog teaches the most is gonna win this matchup.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I think Patty Pumps is gonna get his against Denver, but I think they just shit on Denver so hard that they just pull him, third quarter or whatever. Where Christian McCaffrey, that could actually be a game, so they're gonna have to utilize him.
Yeah, plus Jaden's been running Pacheco against Denver, and Denver has just been getting streaked on by running backs.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, so I'm gonna go sweet baby.
Fair enough. What is next? Oh, yes, I get to pick your matchup. 1s and 2s, calculating. All right, we got the Navy Steels versus Tendon Tears and Pussy Hairs. Navy Steels coming off of a hot win. What do they do?
Keep winning.
So Sam Howell in Atlanta. CJ Stroud.
The Barn Howl. Hey, remember Pud Pounder? You voted for him earlier.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, Pud Pounder.
Yeah, strong man.
Yeah, dude, Puds everywhere. Let's see. Jamar playing against Seattle, I like that. Zay Flowers playing against Tennessee, I like that. Zach Squirts. I think Breece Hall's going to come back to earth this week, though. I mean, playing against the Philly D. So.
You mean on Maggot?
Yeah, sorry, Maggot. Get back in the dirt.
Oh, dude, he's playing against that Josh Palmer I've been dogging on. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's going to be closer than we think, but I think you will get your second win, Willie.
Good man, Dirtle. I don't care what they say
Yep.
about you.
You fucking yeah, whatever. Okay, next one. Oh, we
Bring me
already
to
did
that
that.
screaming for horse creaming. Oh,
Hold
just Josh.
on. The ones and twos are all over the place.
Damn it.
All right, screaming for horse creaming. Yeah, I gotta say, Willie, the name isn't that hot. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. Is that a better screaming for a horse creaming?
I agree.
It sounded better. I know. I wish dude, I got too caught in my head with all the whatever the hell we were trying to figure out they're called, onomatopoeias or whatever.
We've been doing the show for so long that I forgot that we opened the show with this topic. All right, let's fucking go.
Yeah. Who is this? Oh, this is
Screaming for horse
COD
creaming
versus.
playing the mayor. So,
I guess I'm gonna go
position this
COD.
one.
I mean, the Reds team's just gone. Look at those running backs. Like,
Kareem Hunt and Samaje Perine. Oh,
yeah, I don't want
God.
any part of that. That's
Mm-mm.
horrible.
Yeah, and
Good wide
then I
receivers,
mean,
but it's just COD's
yeah,
team's more well-rounded right now. I'm gonna take COD.
fair enough.
Could be close. Could be a
Okay.
shitstorm, but hey, somebody's got to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody's got to. Can we have a tie in the DVFFL?
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's
All
happened
right.
before.
Just Josh versus Trev's Throbbing Hogs. Let's see. Am I picking this?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so Trev's playing Indy. Ramondre is gonna absolutely feast against the Raiders defense. I hate to admit it. Even though the Raiders defense actually did look great last night and I was impressed. Yeah, it's gonna be bad. Kyren. I think fucking Cole Kmet. God. Yeah, fuck. Honestly, I think it's gonna be Jesse. I think the Jesse's been scoring really consistently and very high, and he keeps losing, so eventually he's gonna have to get a fucking win, scoring over 100 points, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of Jesse's song and dance each year. It seems like for the last couple years, he puts up.
Yeah.
I mean, props to him, man. He puts up a lot of points. I don't know if it's the luck or what it is. I'm sure if we knew, I'm sure if Jesse knew, he'd be winning, right? So, but yeah, Crohn's
Perfect.
team also. I mean, dude, he's just had that plethora of injuries. Really sucks. I feel for him, but
Yeah, fucking blows.
way she goes. All right,
All
last
right.
but not least, Wombats versus Mars Putternauts. I mean, I'm gonna go Brian
Man, you're not gonna
Putternauts.
pick your fellow muck player?
I'm rooting for Calvin because again, we need us Muck boys beating some of the upper echelon guys there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Let me just see because I know Calvin's revamped. Hey,
Yeah.
Rico, dude, Rico Suave's making the lineup this week. Oh, that's goody.
Oh
I
my
like
God.
that.
Probably fucking score more than Pennypacker, that motherfucker.
Oh, Cal, you go big head to number one. That's his name. Give me a little more creativity for the coop.
Yeah, Dallas Goddard, I just want to fly.
I do get some enjoyment out of that. Should have just called him Mark
Yeah.
Kelly.
I like the hop hip on here for any of the Pokemon people out there.
Yeah, that's fine. Sandman, that's a true classic Calvin one. Okay, we're not here to talk
Hmm
about nicknames though. I need to actually be paying
Yeah.
attention. So,
He wins based off of nicknames.
Yeah, dude, Brian's got the talent.
Yeah.
But I almost kind of feel like it's risky starting Saquon. I don't know though, like you got to start him, right? If he's playing, you got to start Saquon. Start your stud.
Yeah, if he's playing, yeah.
But first week back against Buffalo, coming off an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, that is going to be very interesting.
But yeah, I mean, got to pick. I'm gonna pick O'Brien.
Well,
But
goddamn, it means he goes to 6-0.
Yeah. Scroll down actually one more time. I just gotta see real fast. I just want to see Calvin's matchups. It might sway my decision. Arizona, Washington. Rico Suave, keep going. Arizona, San Fran, New York. Yeah, see that's the thing. If Cal had green matchups across the board, I'd give him an edge. But I know that San Fran won. Even the Arizona one's kind of strange. I'm not really worried about it with Cooper Kupp, but yeah, Rico Suave. The fact that Rico's made the I mean, it's cool. I like it. Well done, my boy. All right. Well, there you have it. Man, it feels weird that we're going into week 6.
Yeah, it's moving quick, I feel like.
It is moving quick. Every year it's always like, oh, can't wait for fantasy to get here, and then we're in the middle of it, and boom. Already almost halfway through the season. So keep it up, boys. Really like the trade talk. I do feel like this is the most like engaged we've been in years. I mean, to Nuts' point, pretty much hit up anybody at this point. I know that going to get some sort of response. Well, at least from some people. I don't know. There are some people out there. Hey, like, know you got your phone. Like, everybody lives with their phone in their pocket. So don't tell me you ain't seen nothing. If you don't like something, just say, hey, I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk about it. Cool. That's all you need, But outside of that, no, it's been pretty good trades. And, man, we got some stuff stirring up. I cannot wait to see where this goes for the rest of the season. I feel like it's going to be a tight playoff race this year.
Yes, very much so.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks for sticking with us, boys. Listen to us ramble again. Episodes seem to just keep getting longer, even though we keep talking about making them shorter. That's Wilson time for you, baby.
Took 30 minutes to try to figure out how to make this like less than an hour.
Yeah, guess what? Here we are. But you know what?
All right.
That's why the fans love us. That's why we get the views. Subscribe if you like to hear us ramble.
Yeah, and don't forget, boys, keep pounding that pud.
Pounding that pud.
I swear I just wonder why. Say I'm done with this, you tell me don't
let it get in the mud.
Hurt you no more. But you say you love me, tell me why. I'm a dog and I'ma probably be this way until I die. I be up, I'ma go get 'em. What I'm doing, baby, no.